it's so interesting that you laid this foundation stone of religious belief early, even though you've walked away from it to some extent, that sort of asceticism and that almost sort of monk-like existence, that if you bring everything right down to its simplest point, you can then focus everything on the ideas and the creativity, and that's led you to this creative honesty. We've had this question just pop in here about your creative honesty and the way you want to challenge people and challenge yourself. Is that, the question asked, is that natural to you, or do you find you have to work at it?
Oh, I have to work at it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, every day. I think I have to keep checking with myself. I think it should never, the minute it feels like something you don't have to work at, it's probably, you're probably not doing it anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that honesty and the honesty and the...
Yes, okay, yes, that's
but also
hard.
telling the truth. I think that was something that was very prevalent in your lecture, that I think gave that very electric atmosphere in the room, and that's pin drop silence on several occasions, and possibly a few little squeaky bum moments for a few people in the audience. We don't know.
I can't hear from that far away. I'm always like, you can never gauge what anyone. You're just there, kind of.
But yeah, there was
a little girl in the front row I can see,
Yeah, that's right. Turn the lights.
Yeah.
But that sense of not being deliberately provocative, but not shying away from it either, of telling that truth, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you were writing the lecture itself, because it was a challenging lecture and there were a few gasps in the room at various points, in a good way, but is that something you felt nervous of particularly, or that you intended to do, or that you worked at, to be that honest?
Yeah, probably worked at in terms of years, in terms of learning to even say no, learning to say no, or to, is something that takes practice, I think. Mm-hmm. And even practicing it on really small scale levels, we also offer this for half price, and just being like, no. Yes. And then you practice saying no.
Sometimes even in Boots, people will say, oh, you're buying a toothbrush, you can get another one free. And they look at you like you're mad. But
I only have one set of teeth.
Yeah, but also the toothbrushes are all the way over there.
Yes, I've got to go back.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's like, oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
You feel bad because you're conditioned to say yes and to please. And was there, whenever you sort of felt like, when you were writing your lecture, oh, this might be just pushing it a little bit far and I'll just pull back, and then finding the courage to really say what you wanted to say, was that something you grappled with in the working of it?
To be honest, my grappling is more like, Michaela, rein it in. Rein it in. Rein it in. Yeah, just calm down. Yes. Maybe this is calm down. Mm-hmm. So it's more about learning how to communicate with people, actually, and create a space where everybody feels safe. I didn't want to make anyone feel unsafe. Mm-hmm. And I only want to be truthful. And if the truth is, for some people, a little bit shocking, that's not me wanting to shock. That's wanting me to tell, I want to tell the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you talk about, you need to sleep at night.
Yes, it makes me, I feel better having shared honestly. Mm-hmm. That's my only selfish gain is a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Well, it's a precious commodity.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Many people do lie awake, worrying and wondering, and what should I have said and what shouldn't I have said, and
Oh my God, yeah.
To find that peace, though, is very, is the route to wisdom, I think.
Yeah, and I still, sometimes there'll be a little thing, I'll just be thinking, that thing, and I have to just text, hey, 3 years ago something happened, I just want to say I'm really sorry. And they're like, yeah, I don't remember that. Yeah. I've just got it off my chest now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, thanks, I just managed to forget that through years
and
of
now
therapy.
I remember, you fucking bitch.
But one of the things you mentioned again in the lecture that made me have a little laugh to myself as a result of our trip to Kenya was all the things, the sort of British institutions in some respects, in terms of TV shows, whatever, that are very much in the British DNA, and how you didn't know them and you weren't aware of them, and we had this line.
Tell them the name of the game.
Yeah. The name of the game in Kenya was, you name it, Michaela hasn't heard of it. where we were there with Reggie Yates and Hugh Dennis, David Baddiel, Russell Kane, myself and you. And I did call my husband after day 2 and I said, I don't think Michaela's heard of any of us.
Hi David, nice to meet you. Michaela, I didn't know.
Which was absolutely fine.
And now we've become like really good friends.
Yeah.
But it was like...
But my husband was like, what, not even David Baddiel? I was like, nope. He was like, how's he taking it? Okay. And then we sat and had dinner, didn't we, about a week in, and you suddenly went, freelance! He was delighted and relieved, I think.
Relieved?
Yeah.
He was like intrigued, like, you don't know anything?
Yeah.
And then one day I was like,
it was just the most random, but
and that's my only reference as well, that's what I got.
But you were also talking, I think was really interesting on that trip as well, about how you hadn't, well, let me say, I, like probably a lot of people here, have grown up with comic relief. It's very much part of, they always feels like family, and the BBC and all of these sort of British institutions that we feel quite emotional about and protective of, afraid to criticise sometimes because we feel like we will contribute to a hostile environment, almost like treating them like some sort of special family member or a sacred cow, the sacred cows of British life. And what I think is one of the things that I found very exhilarating and exciting about being in your company, although terrifying at times, no, but in a great way, was that you don't have all that in you. You don't feel that. So you're able to look at these things very clearly, I think, with a very clear vision, and identify things that aren't going very well, and then just say them without all of this sort of, oh, well, no, obviously we're all very supportive and we'll all do this and we don't want to really criticise, but you just like, no, this is going wrong here and we need to sort this out.
Yeah.
And I think recently there's been all kinds of things like Oxfam, Save the Children, all these sort of things that everyone was worried about ever saying anything bad about, but actually has been used as a cover for things going very wrong underneath. And is that something that you're aware of in yourself, or is a sort of strange superpower to have in some ways?
It's almost like it's because I don't know anything about this industry, so I'd never seen comic relief, you know. And Reggie was like, I'm going to do this thing called Reach. When I come up, I was like, oh, we're just going to go Africa, help some people? Yeah, sure. And then it's like, oh.
They're suddenly on a room and someone's giving birth.
Yeah, and I'm like delivering a baby. What's going on? Like, there's blood all over me. You know?
Did Idris Elba do this?
Yeah, I'm like, has he done it before? I don't know, I haven't seen it. But yeah, no, and because I'm maybe... Yeah, that outside eye, which I think I mentioned in the lecture, there was many drafts, I'm not sure if it made the cut, but having an outside eye for yourself, you know, in terms of like therapy and people to talk to that have like a outside view, maybe it's that, you know, I'd never seen comic relief, you know, I just heard of the agenda, and then sometimes I was like, well, what's this bit about, you know, what is this, why?
Yeah.